Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. Today I'm going to present before you a story which was written by a great American writer, Edgar Allan Poe, in the year 1853. The story is about a black cat and its horrific revenge that it takes from its owner, who had done something so unimaginably brutal and inhuman to that poor creature that was beyond all levels of monstrosity. And as the narrator of the story, I assure you that it is going to create a space for itself in the mind of its listeners for forever. So, without wasting any more time, let me begin the story. The story goes like this. I know very well that none of you is going to believe in what I'm about to tell you, but as tomorrow is going to be the last day of my life, I desperately need to unburden my soul. But first, let me tell you about myself. Since childhood, I had always been a calm, polite, and sensible kind of person. My love for animals was far greater than any ordinary person's, and at home I had variety of pets that my parents had brought for me, and in whose company only I spent most of my time. Now, years passed by, and I reached adulthood, and on one fine day, I got married to an extremely beautiful and a good natured girl who luckily had interests and likings similar to me. And observing my special love for animals, she frequently brought home various pets. At our home, we had different species of birds, a goldfish, a dog of a fine breed, some rabbits, a small monkey, and yes, at last, a cat. We named this cat as Pluto. It was a very beautiful animal, quite big in size, and completely black in color, and usually displaying an amazing intelligence. In speaking of its intelligence, my wife would often tell me about an ancient popular belief that was kept about black cats, according to which these were seen as some kind of witches, smartly disguised in form of a cat. Now, of all the pets, Pluto was my favorite. I was the only one who would feed it. At home, wherever I go, it would follow me, and only with great difficulty I could stop it from following me on the streets. In this manner, our friendship continued for several years. But I don't know how or when, but there came a change in my behavior. From calm and polite person, I became more moody and irritable. At home, my relation with my wife began to suffer, and sometimes I even physically attacked her. From my changed behavior, our pets also could not remain unaffected. Still, among all the pets, Pluto was the only one whom I did not mistreat or harm in any way. However, with the passage of time, my disease of alcoholism gripped me completely, and ultimately, the effect of my violent behavior reached Pluto too. One night, on returning home in a completely intoxicated state, I had a feeling that cat was avoiding me. I instantly stretched my hand and seized it by the neck. In fear, that animal slightly dug its teeth into my head. I clearly remember that in that instant, some sort of demon took over me, and I completely forgot myself. I took out from my pocket a penknife, opened it, strongly held the cat by its throat, and deliberately took out one of its eyes. The next day, when I woke up, my heart was filled with two emotions. First, of horror, and other one, of guilt for the crime that I committed last night. However, my soul was untouched, and in alcohol I drowned all the memories of my devilish act of last night. In the meantime, the cat slowly recovered. It would roam around the house as usual, but as can be expected, as soon as I came near it, it would flee from that place in extreme terror. I must say that I was hurt by such change of behavior in that animal, who had once deeply loved me. But slowly, that feeling transformed into irritation and ultimately anger. I had reached that state of mentality in which a man does something wrong only for the reason that he knows that it is wrong and he should not do it. And then, one morning, with eyes full of tears and carrying an unbearable weight of guilt over my heart, I slipped a knot around the neck of that animal and hanged it from the branch of a tree in the back of our house. I hung it because I knew that it had once deeply loved me. I hung it because I knew very well that that poor animal had never given me any reason to do that. Yes, I hung it because I knew that after committing such a devilish act, my soul would be burned in hell. Months had passed, but in my life, absence of Pluto disturbed me very much, and for this reason, wherever I went, wherever I was, I always looked around me for a pet of similar appearance as Pluto. And then one evening, as I was sitting in a bar at some distance, I saw some black object which was placed upon a barrel of alcohol. For a while, I kept on looking at that thing. Then I stood up and walked up towards it and stretched my hand to touch it. Very much to my surprise, it turned out to be a black cat, very large one, quite as large as Pluto, and very much similar to Pluto in other respects too. However, there was one difference between the two. While Pluto, as I mentioned earlier, was completely black in color, this cat had an unclear spot of white hairs over its chest. As I touched that cat, it immediately stood up and responded in a friendly manner. Then I realized that it was the very pet that I was looking for. I lifted it up in my hands and went to the owner of the bar and politely expressed my wish to buy it. But the owner told me that that cat did not belong to him. In fact, he had never seen that cat before. Fondling it for a little more, I left that cat at the bar and began walking on my way back home. After walking a certain distance, I realized that I was not alone. I turned back and found that cat to be following me. On seeing such an affection from that cat, I instantly decided to adopt it as my pet, and lifting it in my hands, I took it home. Once reaching its new home, it took only a few days to that cat to win over my wife's heart too. However, after some days, though I had not expected this feeling, but I felt disgust and annoyance at the unusual love that that animal was showing towards me, so I started avoiding it. Though a sense of shame and memory of my past cruelty prevented me from physically attacking it, but gradually I came to look at it with extreme hatred, and whenever I saw it approaching, I would silently disappear from that place. Now, one of the reasons that made that cat disgusting to me was the knowledge of a fact that I came to know on the next morning I brought that animal home, and it was the absence of an eye on its face, because that empty space reminded me about the inhuman act that I committed against Pluto just a couple of months back. The more I hated that animal, the more it showered with love upon me. Whenever I would sit, it would come and sit under my chair, or would jump and sit in my lap, or when I would stand up and walk, it would come between my feet that would make me unstable and about to fall, or sometimes, with the help of its sharp nails, it would climb up my shirt and come upon my chest. At such times, I felt a great impulse to kill that animal right then and there, but I could never gather up enough courage to do so. I believe it was partially because the memories of my old crime was still fresh in my mind, and chiefly for the reason that in truth I was afraid of that beast. Here, I must tell you that this fear was not some ordinary fear that you and I encounter in our daily lives. I have no words to make you imagine the terrifying face of that fear, but still, I'll try. I told you that this cat that I found at the bar was all black in color, and also I mentioned that there was an unclear patch of white hairs upon its chest. Well, my fear is related to that very unclear patch of hairs. The thing was that after I brought that cat in our home, I began to notice that with each passing day, the white, unclear mark on its chest began to take more and more clear shape. And on one terrifying day, what I saw that left me speechless, and for a while my heart stopped beating, because the mark on the chest of that animal was that of a knot, a noose. My life had become a hell. There remained no relief for me. During the day, that disgusting animal never left me alone, and in the night, when I would wake up from some terrifying dream, I would find that cruel beast comfortably rolled upon my chest. I got so much afraid of that cat that whatever good that was left in me was fastly disappearing, and my mind was getting filled up with all kinds of negative and brutal thoughts. Everyone and everything began to irritate me. At home, my poor wife had to go through the hell that I had made our lives of. Then, one morning, when because of some work, my wife and I were going down the stairs of our basement, then, out of habit, that disgusting animal entangled itself in my left foot in such a way that I was about to fall from the stairs. I got so much mad and furious at that evil animal that I completely forgot myself, and in no time, some sort of devil took over me, and instantly, in an explosion of anger, I grabbed an axe that was hanging on a wall beside me and brought all the strength of my body into my hands, which were raised above my head, to strike down that beast with a single blow. If that animal had received that deadly blow of that axe, my curse would have ended right then and there. But by stopping my hands, my wife prevented that from happening. But the demon in me could not accept such an interference from anyone, and I strike that very axe into her head, and without making any sound, her body immediately fell down. After committing this heinous crime, I got occupied in planning to dispose of the dead body of my wife. I knew very well that it was impossible for me to take her body out of the house without catching any attention from the neighbors. At first, I thought about chopping her body to pieces and then burn them. Then I thought of burying her body in the floor of the basement itself. I also thought about putting the body into a box and get it out by a baggage carrier. But then, suddenly an idea came to my mind that was far better than all of them. I decided that I would wall up the body in the chimney of the basement itself, and for this purpose, the wall of the chimney was most appropriate. Because during the construction of the house, in order to let out the smoke, a chimney was constructed in the basement. However, later that chimney was filled up with bricks and concrete, and it became one with the other walls of the basement. Moreover, the plaster that covered this chimney had been applied just recently, and due to the moisture in the atmosphere, it was not hard yet. So, my plan was to empty the chimney and place the dead body of my wife in it, and then cover the chimney again, just the way it was before. Without wasting any time, I got occupied in executing my plan, and at the end, I was absolutely sure that I had done everything so carefully that no one could possibly tell a difference between the newly plastered wall and the other walls of the basement. My next step was to look for that beast, because of which my life became a hell. I assure you that if I could lay my hand upon it at that moment, I would have done something so much terrible to it that no human mind could possibly imagine. I believe that clever animal had somehow sensed my intention. That's why it preferred to remain hidden from me. I cannot describe the relief that the absence of that cat had brought me. Hours later, night approached. but that animal was nowhere to be seen. Ever since I had brought that cat in my home, this was the first night that I had slept peacefully. Yes, you heard it right. I slept peacefully, even with the burden of a murder upon my soul. The second and then the third day passed, and still that disgusting animal did not appear. The feeling of guilt at murdering my lovely wife disturbed me for sure, but not much. In a regard, some inquiries were made, but I answered all those quite easily. On the fourth day, a group of policemen unexpectedly came to my home and began an intense investigation. There was not a single corner of the house that their sharp eyes had not explored. Still, they could not find any possible reason for the sudden disappearance of my wife. 3 to 4 times they even went into the basement but could not find anything. Here, just like an innocent person, with my arms folded upon my chest, I was walking in the basement from one end to the other and was silently congratulating myself for my success at hiding the evidence of my crime. The policemen were completely satisfied and about to leave when, out of uncontrollable happiness, I said something for which I had to pay a great price. I said, "Gentlemen, I'm glad that I could help you in your investigation. I wish you all the success. But can I tell you one thing? That this is a very well constructed house. These walls are very strongly built." And in a display of confidence, I, with a stick that I was carrying in my hands, strike the portion of the wall exactly behind which was standing the dead body of my wife. As the sound that was produced by the strike of my stick disappeared into silence, in its reply came a voice from behind that chimney wall, a cry, at first a little suppressed and broken, like the sobbing of a child, but then one long, loud, and a continuous scream, like the sound of someone howling in pain, partly suggesting horror and partly suggesting victory. It felt like a voice of someone who was being burned in the fire of hell. Upon hearing those hellish cries, I lost my sense of balance and staggered to the wall behind me. For one instant, just like myself, those policemen too stood motionless, without taking any breath, and then, all of a sudden, they ran towards the wall from which deafening voice was being heard, and only in a couple of minutes they destroyed the major portion of that wall, and before us was standing the dead body of my wife, considerably decayed and covered with blood, and upon its head, with blood around its mouth and fire in its eyes, was sitting that very evil beast whose craft had trapped me into killing a poor and innocent human being, and in the end, whose scream had sent me to the noose, or you can say, to my death, because now I realized that I had plastered that animal in the wall along with the dead body of my wife. The story ends here. I hope you found this story interesting. If you really liked it, then please post a like and share it with your friends and family. And yes, please do not leave the channel without subscribing to it. Thank you very much in advance. Have a nice day ahead.